I've always said, you know, like when people have horses that can't be ridden, how they're disposed of, you know, they're thrown in auctions or given to somebody and thrown out in the backyard and forgotten about or whatever. And I do understand that horses are extremely expensive, and if you are a competitor, like, and you don't have the finances to support 10, you know, every horse you've ever had a privilege of owning, I do get it that, you know, there's sales are necessary and whatnot, but I do feel horses are pretty dumped. But if you are somebody who's committed to your horse for the rest of its life, I do, you know, really try to promote to people that your horse wants to still spend time with you. Your horse wants to still be a part of something with you. Kind of stay sharp and you know, and also in how they enjoy the opportunity to use their brain. Horses are incredible puzzle solvers. There's a really cute video where, come on, Katie. I know I'm being rude to you, but you can still move. You know the rules. Where there's a horse that's sitting there for like 10 minutes messing with the electric fence. He understands, like his brain processed that the human can touch this yellow piece, right? This yellow piece that is the handle for detaching like an electric line. You know, when somebody doesn't have a gate and they just use the electric to be the gate, and there's this yellow like handle thing with a hook on it, and the hook is metal, and it hooks from, you know, another metal place, and then continues the electric line. I know what I'm trying to say, just isn't coming out right. But my point is anyway, is that the horse was clever enough to realize that that particular part of the electric fence is not charged, and was clever enough to understand that he has to pull it this way slightly to get it to, you know, to make enough resistance to unlatch it. And watching this horse not just do one, but I think he did 3, and let himself out of his paddock, or watching horses, you know, undo double end snaps, watching horses do latches for their stall doors, you know, the sliding type latches, and then going and letting other horses out. And through that, it's like, do you not see how clever your horse is? Do you not see how clever horses, if it's not your horse, how clever horses are to you know, be able to puzzle solve as well as they can puzzle solve? And that maybe if you gave them an opportunity to participate in a puzzle solving game with you, your horse would be absolutely, you know, would enjoy it. And if you think about it even more so, like I always say, you know, people have dogs and they don't need their dogs to be rideable in order to spend time with their dogs. Like people grab their dogs and grab a ball or a frisbee and they head to the park, and they do that because they enjoy playing with and hanging out with their dogs. So why can't we have those kinds of relationship with our horses? The answer is we absolutely can. So that question isn't really meant for anyone to try to answer that. But I think even still, like our dogs, you know, you see dogs, like they love the training, you know, when people do agility and stuff with them, they love that kind of training, or people who do, you know, competitive agility where the dog's like running between their legs and things like that. And it's like, you see these competitors that do dance with their dogs and stuff. And you see that the dogs have to be clever and puzzle solving to learn how to do stuff like that. Well, horses can be just as much fun because it's fun to watch, because their brains are different. They're prey animals. Their brains are different than, you know, a dog that wants to do it because there's a treat at the end of it. Now, horses, do they like treats? Yes, but they're not as much about, you know, praise and recognition as dogs are. Horses really just would prefer to be left alone, you know, and that tells them that you're pleased with them because you're not trying to eat them, you know, being a predator yourself. So I don't know. If I can promote people to realize that, like, even like babies, like people who won't buy a baby. Now, granted, not everybody's equipped or qualified to have a baby. I get that, because babies require a lot of, like, kind of staying on top of them as they go through their stages. You know, like this one, he was quite the biter as a youngster. My fingers are wet. So as a biter, you know, he made my life really challenging, because he was always trying to put me in his mouth when he was a baby. Always. Every time I turned around, I was, you know, experiencing him trying to bite me. And it was something that you had to stay on top of, or I was going to breed, you know, a horse to be a biter all the time. You know, there's those of us who really strongly believe that a relationship with a horse is what it should be about, more than any sport.